It's Rob and Sandra with my wife, the dietitian, and this is Nutrition Nuggets.
Hey, Rob.
Well, hello, Sandra.
We're going to talk about mindful eating today.
Oh, mindful eating.
What it is, the 5 benefits of mindful eating, and how to practice mindful eating. 5 strategies for doing that.
It's probably a good thing. I think everyone hears that term, but I don't know if anyone's ever thought of what it actually means.
There's a definition.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
What is it? Let's start with there.
Being present with the sensory experience of eating without judgment or interpretation.
And the opposite would just be like cramming a bunch of food in your face.
I think the opposite is what most people, us included, do a lot of the time, is distracted eating.
Well, yeah, that and just, you're focused on 3 other things while you're jamming a bunch of food in your face.
Yeah, multitasking, driving while eating, or talking on the phone, or looking at media. All those are not necessarily mindful eating. They're more distracted eating.
Yeah, or like fast food kind of eating. Even that whole concept of fast food is the opposite of mindful eating. Although you could mindfully eat a Big Mac, I suppose.
Yeah. And the strategies will go over some techniques to help with slowing down and being present with the sensory experience of eating.
Cool. I like it.
So 5 benefits. I'm sure you could probably name a few. What do you think would be a benefit of mindful eating on our health?
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's like physical benefits, like the whole process of chewing more and, allowing your food to digest, and
Exactly.
you're not going to get heartburn or hiccups, or you're not going to choke.
Improved digestion is definitely a big one as a benefit.
I bet. Makes sense, right?
Yeah. And when you're mindfully eating, you're probably slowing down a little bit. So you end up eating less. So you're less
quantity because you're eating slower.
That's right.
So you're giving your body a chance to fill up.
Exactly. You're savoring your food. You're actually, eating with your senses.
Right. We'll get into that in a minute too. Sandra has a good example for that, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, then it helps with stress and reducing stress. If you're actually present with your food and eating slowly and thinking about eating, you end up having better digestion, you overeat less, and then it also helps with stress reduction.
Yeah. Imagine that you're, it's 5:45 and your kid's got a soccer game. He's got to be there at 6 and you have to sit down and eat dinner. You're not going to have a relaxing dinner. You're going to just be like trying to get it in you as fast as you can, and everyone's rushing and stressed. And it's if you had an hour to eat that same dinner, it would be a more positive eating experience.
Yeah, absolutely. They say eat like they do in France, where it's actually they take 2-hour lunch breaks and have a glass of wine with their lunch on a work day, because you're slowing down, you're eating mindfully, you're savoring the taste, the flavors.
It's an experience. It's not just, I need to put food in my belly. It's an entire experience, the whole eating, the environment, what you're eating, tasting it. And
that's actually the 4th benefit is food tastes better. Because when we're more distracted, then the foods are just less intense, the taste. So
we're not focused on it, right?
Exactly.
Because the food's the same food. I mean, it's not like the food changes flavor if you focus on it, but you notice it more if you focus on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's right. And the 5th benefit is a better relationship with food. So feeling like more connected to what you're eating. It helps with having a relationship with food instead of just the do's and don'ts and I can't eat this and I can't eat that, because it's more about being present with the food and actually experiencing it and sensing the experience.
And you're having a positive experience with it too. I mean, if you are eating fast all the time and then you have these sort of symptoms from eating too fast and you've got indigestion and all that sort of thing, if you have, that's you're going to have a negative association with eating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Versus, like you said, eating like they do in France, and then that's a more positive, rewarding experience that your brain will say, hey, let's do more of this.
Yeah, exactly. And how to. So how to practice mindful eating and some strategies. So 5 strategies. The first one is kind of funny. Eat like a toddler. So not as messy, but
I was going to say, I got to throw my food around the room and scream and complain.
no, use your
Play with my
5
food.
senses.
Like my hands with my mashed potatoes. I feel my mashed potatoes squish through my fingers
So pause.
before I smear it on the wall.
Yeah, chew and pause and taste. Be fully present with it and actually use your senses. So a good example, and you mentioned this earlier that I was going to bring this up, but
Oh, yes.
if we think of maybe the sensory experience of eating an apple, for instance. So we use our 5 senses. We use our eyesight, or we use our taste, our touch, our smell, and the sound. So you think, okay, so you got the apple. So what color is it? So is it red? Is it green? Is it like a cherry red? Or is it a pale green or a bright green? So looking at that apple and look at what color it is. So that's using your eyesight. Then when we take a bite of it, how does it feel? How does it feel on our tongue? How does it feel in our hand when we're eating that apple? The taste. Is it sweet? Is it tart? Does it have a crunchy texture? Is it more mealy and a different texture? What about the aroma? Is it like a citrus aroma or a pear? Or does it have a perfumey kind of aroma or spicy? So that would be part of the smell. And then how does it sound like when you bite into it? What noise does that apple make when you're biting into it? And it's like the sound that the food produces when you're actually eating it. So all those things, I don't think we ever really think about that. We might look at how it looks and how it tastes, but actually like delving into our 5 senses and all of those things.
We have a few apple trees in our backyard, and they're all different. Well, there's a few different species of apples, and there's this one tree. And I've, just like Sandra said, I've never really paid attention before until now we have our own, and I kind of can see the differences between all the different apples. But there's this one tree, and it's got the best apples on it. In my, for my apple preferences, they're huge, bright green. They're kind of sour. They've got this real crispy snap to them when you bite into them. They're really juicy and kind of sour. They're like a Granny Smith, but they're not. They're called like a translucent or something maybe, and they come really early.
They're transparent.
Transparent maybe.
I can't
I don't
remember.
know. They're some kind of something like that. But oh my gosh, they're like everything I want in an apple. They check all those boxes. They're amazing. They're like, I see them. They're just like these big, bright green things hanging in the tree. And it's like, oh, look at that. And yeah, I mean, they make me salivate just looking at them.
Oh.
Versus some of the other apples, which, they're red and they've got kind of that more mushy kind of consistency. They don't taste quite as good.
Maybe
but,
for more like applesauce.
yeah,
or
they're good for
cooking.
something. But for an eating apple, this is like, yeah, wow, I get excited when I see them.
Oh,
and I get
yeah.
very sad when I don't see them anymore because they're all gone. And I look at the tree and I'm like, oh, there's no more.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so eat like a toddler. That would be one way to practice mindful eating, like using your 5 senses. Also, number 2 is tune into your body's physical cues, like your hunger and satiety cues. Like how does the food make you feel? So when we had our interview with Sandra Teese and we talked about intuitive eating, we talked about, going through a drive-through and like having a greasy burger and fries, and that does not make me feel good. And I know that. So like I just tuning into how the food makes you feel.
Yeah.
And also just, am I hungry? Am I really like starving? Or am I just like kind of hungry? Or I'm not hungry, but there's food available, I'm going to eat, that kind of thing. So try to be more mindful about where you are on that like hunger fullness scale.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 is quality over quantity. So looking at, as I mentioned, in France, they might eat, a 2-hour meal, and it's It's good quality food. It's not, some people think, oh, you need to have low fat and low calories and that will help with my health and my weight. But actually, if you think of how they eat in France, it's like full fat dairy and cheese and meat. And it's all about savoring the food and eating like quality over the amount they're eating. So, and if you're eating slower, then you eat less over the meal time and your body will have that hunger cue signal happen.
Right. To say enough.
Yeah, enough. Exactly.
Time to move on.
Yeah, that's right. The next one goes into eating rituals. So maybe have like have a table setting and eat with others, and maybe have a special place and time that you eat so that your body knows and it's getting ready for, the eating experience instead of just like eating on the run all the time.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And patience and persistence. So, it takes time to learn a new skill, and mindful eating is like another skill. Like you don't expect to go into the gym and become like a marathon runner the next day. At the same time with eating, you don't expect to just start mindful eating and know exactly, how to do it easily right away.
Yeah, you got to build up that that habit and that routine, right?
Yeah, exactly. And patience and persistence. So just keep trying, and even if you don't have time or you don't think about it, do it, try to do it once a week, or try to do it one meal a week. Just like sit down and really think about, okay, today I'm going to really use all my senses for this dinner meal or this breakfast or this lunch or whatever, and try to practice.
Excellent advice.
Yes. And the last one, is that 4 or 5?
I think the ritual was 4.
Okay. That's it.
Oh, I thought you had one more.
Well, the other one is okay, like a food eating sanctuary, meaning the foods that you have in your pantry or in your fridge or in your house, or the foods that you're eating align with your health and self-care goals. So don't have a whole bunch of kind of junky foods available for you and your family to eat if that's not aligning with what you are wanting in terms of your health. So maybe, the grocery store is the point of purchase where you are setting your health up for the week. So maybe be more mindful about making a list for your grocery shopping and having those good foods in your house so that yourself and your family have access to healthy foods that you are going to enjoy and savor.
Yeah, exactly. Just be mindful when you're shopping to, as well as when you're eating.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly. So quick recap, 5 benefits: less overeating, improved digestion, stress reduction, food tastes better, and you get a better relationship with food with mindful eating. And being present with the sensory experience of eating without judgment or interpretation, and how to do that. Eat like a toddler, like use all your 5 senses. Tune in to your body's physical hunger and satiety cues. And how does that food make you feel? And use quality over quantity in terms of the food you're eating. Being patient and persistent with the habit of mindful eating. And having those, eating rituals and sanctuary. So the rituals, the table setting, eating with others, eating in the same place and time, and also trying to have foods that align with your health goals and your self-care goals available to yourself and your family in your house.
Perfect.
Good.
There you go.
All right. So let's go have a lunch, and we'll mindfully eat our lunch, and maybe we'll take a little bit longer than usual with this meal.
Yeah, we could do that. A little picnic outside or something.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Fun.
Awesome.
All right. What do we got? We got
Craving Change.
Craving Change coming up on Monday with Wendy Shaw, creator
good.
of Craving Change. That'll be an interesting one to tune into. So
yeah, and that actually takes a lot of these principles in.
It totally does. Yeah. Perfect.
Good. Thanks,
awesome.
Rob.
All right. Well, make sure to check out social media. In the meantime, we're on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. You can email us your questions if you wish at mywifetherd@gmail.com. Check out the website. There's some new blogs up there. And that's mywifethedietitian.com. And yeah, have a good week, everyone. We will talk to you on Monday. Thanks for joining us today on My Wife the Dietitian. If you like what you heard, don't be shy. Leave us a comment or review, and be sure to share our podcast with your friends. If you'd like to hear more, hit that subscribe button. You can also follow us on our social media pages for updates, episode trailers, and other odds and ends. For more info and links on what we discussed on today's episode, check the show notes. We'll be back next week with another informative and fun-filled episode.